The 7 sacred signs that reveal your destiny is about to change forever. Did you know that in the next 60 seconds you could discover if your life is about to take the most extraordinary turn you've ever experienced? Just 3 days ago, I received a message from a follower who told me, "For weeks I felt something strange, as if the universe was whispering secrets I couldn't understand." Now, after learning about these signs, my life completely changed. If you feel that something mysterious is moving within you, if you've noticed subtle changes you can't explain, or if you simply have that inexplicable sensation that something big is coming, then this message didn't reach you by chance. Stay until the end, because what you're about to discover could be the key you've been searching for your entire life. Time is one of the most enigmatic and powerful forces that exist in the cosmos. It possesses the extraordinary capacity to transform a leader into a forgotten figure, and a forgotten figure into a leader who marks history. Time can turn the most painful failure into the brightest success, and the most promising success into a lesson in humility. If you stop for a moment and reflect deeply, you'll discover something absolutely fascinating. The same person making the same effort in the same situation can obtain completely different results depending on the moment they act. Sometimes, that same effort leads to extraordinary success that exceeds all expectations, while at other times, it seems to collapse under the inexorable weight of failure. Is this simply the whim of fate acting randomly, or is there something much deeper and more mysterious operating behind this apparent coincidence? The great sages and spiritual masters of all traditions have firmly believed that life is not a collection of meaningless random events. They taught that God, in His infinite wisdom, has already provided us with subtle but powerful signs that indicate when change is near, when transformation is about to manifest. These masters taught us a fundamental truth. No human being can escape the transformative power of time, but when this time aligns perfectly with divine grace, the difficulties that once seemed overwhelming and insurmountable suddenly become easier to face and overcome. The real question is not whether good times will come into our lives, but whether we are truly prepared to recognize and receive them when they finally appear on our path. Paramahansa Yogananda, one of the great spiritual masters of the 20th century, frequently explained that the ups and downs of the outer world are actually direct reflections of the state of our inner world. When peace and clarity exist within us, the outer world seems calm and perfectly balanced to us. But when turbulence and darkness fill our hearts, life feels like a battlefield full of insurmountable obstacles. What people normally call good times are not simply strokes of luck or favorable coincidences. They are, in reality, the direct result of our consciousness, our energy, the way our thoughts and actions are connected with divinity. When that inner connection is alive and vibrant, doors seem to open magically, and coincidences that feel like true miracles begin to appear constantly in our lives. Before continuing with these powerful revelations, I want to invite you to be part of our spiritual family here at Divine Karma Path. If this content is resonating in your heart, if you feel these words are awakening something deep within you, subscribe now and activate notifications. Every week we share sacred teachings, guided meditations, and spiritual secrets that can completely transform your life. Don't let the algorithm separate you from the wisdom your soul needs. Subscribe now to Divine Karma Path. First sign, the spontaneous awakening of the soul. The first sign of transformation is something incredibly subtle, yet at the same time profoundly powerful: the sudden and unexpected remembrance of God and an inner awakening that feels completely effortless, as if it were the most natural thing in the world. Perhaps you've noticed that lately you wake up early without needing an alarm, as if an invisible force were gently calling you from sleep. And at the exact moment your eyes open, your mind naturally fills with the name of God. There is no worry, no stress, only a gentle and warm sweetness that arises from the deepest part of your being, as if your soul itself were whispering, "I am returning to my true home." This is not something ordinary or common. It is an unmistakable sign that your consciousness is beginning to experience a significant and profound change. In the most ancient and sacred spiritual traditions, the early morning hours, before the sun illuminates the horizon, are considered completely sacred. It is said that during these magical moments, the energy of the entire universe is calm, pure, and deeply favorable for accelerated spiritual growth. The sages of old declared that a seeker who naturally rises at this hour and turns toward God without any effort progresses more rapidly toward higher states of consciousness and awareness. Yogananda explained that when someone awakens at this sacred hour and turns toward the divine effortlessly, it means that the subtle life force within them is beginning to rise naturally. Normally, this sacred energy rests at the base of the spine, but when it flows upward and touches the center of the brow, the seeker feels naturally drawn to meditation and devotion. That center is precisely where the soul and God connect in the clearest and most direct way possible. Second sign: victory over automatic reactions. The second sign manifests when a person begins to gain victory over their automatic reactions and discovers a completely new mental ease. For most of us, reactions are completely automatic and uncontrollable. Someone says something hurtful, and anger ignites instantly. Something goes wrong, and irritation arises immediately. A small setback can keep us anxious for entire hours. But when divine light begins to move within us, something absolutely remarkable and transformative happens. Those same triggers that previously controlled us completely no longer have the same power over us. The sharp edges of irritation soften, and the heart discovers a new calm that seems to arise from an inexhaustible source. Sometimes, without any particular apparent reason, a genuine smile appears, and a sense of lightness completely fills the body and mind. This is not an ordinary or superficial joy, but a deep and significant spiritual indication. Third sign: the natural awakening of generosity. The third sign of an approaching transformation arrives when the natural flow of generosity begins to awaken in a person spontaneously. Most of us spend our lives trying to accumulate things: money, possessions, achievements, recognition, because they give us a sense of security and control. But the constant hunger to gather more often creates a persistent sense of lack, as if no matter how much we have, something important is always missing. However, when divine consciousness rises within us, this way of seeing and experiencing life begins to change fundamentally. A person no longer thinks solely about taking or receiving. They begin to feel genuine and profound joy in giving without pressure, without ostentation, and without expectations of return. At first, it may seem simple and unimportant. Perhaps they share food, perhaps they offer time or knowledge, perhaps they provide encouragement when someone feels depressed. Externally, these may seem like small and insignificant gestures, but internally, they mark an absolutely profound shift in consciousness. Giving becomes effortless and natural, which means the soul is moving away from scarcity consciousness and entering into consciousness of infinite abundance. Fourth sign: purity and subtle divine attraction. The fourth sign of a new chapter in life is purity and a subtle divine attraction that naturally emanates from the being. When inner change takes deep root, its effects extend far beyond the individual. The change is so fine and silent that it often goes unnoticed, but sensitive beings can feel it deeply in their hearts. Children and animals, with their natural innocence and pure connection to life, are among the first to recognize this transformation. They feel naturally drawn to a seeker whose heart has become pure. Suddenly, birds may stay nearby longer, children may approach without doubts or fears, and animals may show trust and affection instead of fear or distrust. These encounters may seem ordinary and insignificant, but they reveal that a profound transformation in energy is taking place. Yogananda explained that each person radiates an aura, an invisible field shaped not only by physical health, but by thoughts, emotions, and spiritual depth. Fifth sign: inspiration and divine synchronicity. The fifth sign is inspiration and synchronicity that begins to manifest regularly. There are moments in life when it feels as if the universe itself is guiding us directly, placing the right people, the precise words, or the exact events in our path at the perfect moment. Perhaps you've experienced it personally. A stranger says something that answers exactly a question you had been keeping silently in your heart. A book opens to the exact page that contains the guidance you desperately needed. An unexpected opportunity arrives precisely when you weren't sure which direction to take in your life. Many people dismiss these events as simple coincidences without importance, but Yogananda called them the natural manifestation of divine synchronicity. When the mind is restless and agitated, it cannot hear the subtle voice of God. It's like a radio full of static, unable to tune into the correct station. Sixth sign, the beauty of simplicity. The sixth sign that life is entering a higher phase is the natural simplicity that begins to emerge. In the world we live in, everything pushes us toward more possessions, more experiences, more recognition. We are taught to believe that joy lies in constant accumulation. However, the soul intuitively knows that happiness becomes lighter and more genuine when life becomes simpler. When a person is constantly chasing pleasures and luxuries, the mind may feel excitement for a time, but it also creates more restlessness and deeper dissatisfaction. Desires multiply like sparks in an uncontrolled fire, and instead of feeling fulfilled, people end up feeling emptier than before they began the pursuit. But when life begins to lean toward simplicity, when contentment appears even with little, then balance and peace begin to rise naturally in the mind. Seventh sign, the divine thirst that cannot be satisfied. The seventh and most powerful sign is when all worldly desires fade and only a burning thirst for the divine remains. Desires don't disappear all at once. Food, wealth, relationships, recognition, these continue to be part of human existence and drive us forward, but their end is never true satisfaction. Fulfill one desire and another arises immediately. Chase that one and a third appears. In this way, life becomes an endless race and the soul grows weary of the constant pursuit. A moment arrives when the soul, tired of pleasure after pleasure, begins to cry from its depths, "I only want God, nothing more." This longing is not an ordinary desire that can be temporarily satisfied. It is the deepest call of the soul toward its true home. It is not like hunger or thirst that can be fed for a moment and satisfied. It burns like fire within, refusing to allow the seeker to rest until the presence of God is known directly. Dear brothers and sisters on this spiritual path, the signs we have explored together are not empty superstitions or meaningless coincidences. They are the living steps of the soul's journey, powerful reminders that true transformation always begins from within. We are often trained to believe that our good time will come when external circumstances change, when more money arrives, when opportunities appear, when recognition comes. But the fundamental truth is that outer change always follows inner change. When our consciousness changes, our life changes with it. And this is the heart of the message we share here at Divine Karma Path, that the path to peace, fulfillment, and true prosperity is not outside us, but within us. When we notice these signs, when we recognize generosity, purity, simplicity, divine longing, and synchronicity rising within us, we can be certain that the soul is aligning with something greater and that a new and blessed chapter of life is about to unfold. When we think of good times, we must not confuse them with temporary waves of fortune. Winning something, obtaining a position, or enjoying material comfort may feel like a blessing, but it is short-lived. The true blessing, the lasting good time, begins when the soul itself shifts toward the light. That shift can be felt in the generosity that flows naturally, in the purity that draws children and animals near without fear, in the synchronicities that show us the universe is whispering directions, in the contentment found in simplicity, and in the fire of longing that will settle for nothing less than God. Remember this deeply. Good times don't arrive only when external circumstances change. They arrive when consciousness changes. When you recognize generosity rising within you, when you live in simplicity, when you embrace synchronicity, when your soul burns for God, then you are already living in the light of a new time. This is the blessing that cannot fade, the good time that no outer storm can erase. Here, under the warmth of Divine Karma Path, let this truth settle in your heart. Your soul is already on its way, already calling, already awakening. The signs are there if you are ready to see them. And when you see them, you will know that the good time you seek has already begun. The universe is whispering to you that your moment has arrived. Are you ready to listen? If this message resonated in your heart, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And remember to subscribe to Divine Karma Path for more wisdom that will transform your life. Your spiritual awakening is our commitment. May the divine light always illuminate your path.